Hey now, welcome to Arizona Central, your one-stop shop for everything Arizona Cardinals in the OMFL. I am happy that you guys have joined me today. We're going to talk about our last game, Week 17, against the LA Rams. LA Rams seem to have my number each and every time we play. He and I have traded games back and forth, but I'll absolutely show you why he is a nightmare for me. They came into my house and won 19-16 in a game, excuse me, that I really needed to win to just kind of solidify my playoff position. I did not want to back my way into the playoffs, but it looks like that's how it's going to be. This game was actually a very defensive game where both teams could not find any offense. I was able to really stop his rushing and passing attack, held him down pretty well, whereas his defense was able to cause turnover after turnover after turnover, which really kept him in this game and ended up winning him this game. He allowed 225 passing yards, I should say, to my Arizona Cardinals. He allowed 108 rushing yards, but he had 2 defensive sacks and 4 takeaways where he didn't turn the ball over at all. It was only 27% on third down, but again, when you only have 126 passing yards and only 20 rushing yards and only 27% on third down, it helps to have 4 turnovers and a defensive touchdown, which is what he had. Jimmy Garoppolo absolutely struggled again today. I am absolutely just not playing well. People are playing a lot of zone against me. In this game, I faced a lot of cover 2 zone, and I simply didn't have an answer for it. The reason I absolutely despise cover 2 in this game is because it just doesn't work the way it used to work in pass, and it's too overpowered of a play. I remember one play in particular where he got a pick in the end zone and a play that I was driving called a cover 2 zone. I had a streak route called, which should beat cover 2 almost every single time, but his cornerback never played shallow. So he played shallow on one side, didn't play shallow on the other. The guy followed my receiver all the way up 25 yards down the field, ended up getting the pick. I'm making really bad decisions with Jimmy Garoppolo right now. He's 18 of 32 for 234, 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions. They ended up stopping me on a 4th down with less than a minute to go. And this was a tough game. Johnson had a decent game, 18 rushes for 84 yards, 4 from Grant for 24 yards. Again, Sean Marion did a good job. He was 12 of 17, so he was very efficient. Only 151 total yards, but he did not turn the ball over, and that is, at the end of the day, all that matters. They couldn't find a rushing attack at all without their star running back Gurley being in the game, only 18 for 17 yards for Peck. And they really were able to hit big plays on me with Britt and Austin. Austin is a headache for anyone that faces him, and he was able to make big catch after big catch. Britt had a big 41-yard pass that kept a big 3rd down alive for them, and that helped a ton. I had to do some checkdowns this game to Johnson, which is not normally my game, but again, I was facing a lot of cover 2, and that was about all that I had open. My guys really had a hard time finding openings against that zone. Just a very good, fast defense that they have over in St. Louis. Ogletree really was the bane of my existence. Him and Aaron Donald really wreaked havoc on my offense all day long. Ogletree is just so fast. He was able to make some plays in the passing game. Came away with 2 big interceptions, and he also was just rushing to the ball and able to make plays all day long. William Hayes came off the side for a sack fumble, which ended up being picked up and returned for a touchdown, which was just really tough. Actually, I lied. It was not a sack fumble. I did have a fumble turnover. It was Ogletree on a sack on a screen, which caused the ball to pop up and picked off by Ogletree, and they rushed it in. Donald was in the backfield all day long. I had to purposely run away from him on my running plays. Even on the passing plays, I had to get rid of the ball super fast just because he was in my face all day long making plays. The Arizona Rams came away with an impressive 19-16 victory. They held me to just field goals. I had a couple of opportunities to score late and just couldn't make it happen. Harold and Gooden Lutel and Smart each came away with sacks on the day. But again, my defense has never been the issue. It's been the offense. It's been the turnovers. It's been Jimmy G just not playing well. First half of the season, he could have been MVP. He was playing so well, playing red hot. And then one game, we had 5 interceptions. And ever since then, it has been coming in bunches and bunches and bunches. And it's something that has to be cleaned up as we get ready for the playoff run that we're making here, which will probably start this afternoon as we advance to the playoffs. So, there you have it. I am finished in second place at 11-5 in the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks were just red hot and too much for me to try to catch up with late in the season. I will finish as the 6th seed. Some of these other seeds may move with a game that is taking place right now as the New York Giants and the Atlanta Falcons are playing. So 3, 4, and 5, maybe even 2 through 5 may do some flip-flopping here, but looks like I will be traveling to face either the Bucs, the Vikings, or possibly the Cowboys or Falcons. It could be really any of those teams depending on how this flip-flop goes. But even if I win, I'm going to have to fight those pesky Seahawks because they will have that number 1 seed. So there's a look at your Week 17 game here in Arizona. We are preparing for the playoffs, trying to get focused, get Jimmy G to cut down on those interceptions. We have to find a rushing game. We have found one here in the last couple of games in the season, but still that is going to be important to establish and have that balance. And then on defense, we have to continue to do what we're doing. Get after the quarterback like we have here late in the season. And we have to cause some turnovers if we're going to win the playoffs. We have to settle touchdowns, not field goals, because that will absolutely come back to bite you late in the game. So thank you for tuning in to Arizona Central. Before you know it, the next podcast will either be our playoff loss or a playoff win. And we're going to start preparing for the offseason here really soon. We've already begun to get our roster ready. We've been lucky enough to re-sign every player that was up for contract this season. A couple of those guys that we may part ways with, but we wanted to get them under contract just to secure their services and then decide later on what we want to do with them. We are going to go in the offseason with around $20 to $30 million worth of cap room, and we are looking to move some players. We're going to have David Johnson on the block. Jones, quarterback that we got from the Buffalo Bills last year, he's going to be on the block. We're also listening to offers for Patrick Peterson, though it will be unlikely that we move him because we just don't think that anybody's going to give us what we're asking. But David Johnson is definitely could be had, but again, I'm not going to give him away just because he's on the block. It will be something that you'll have to pay the price for. We're looking for a first-round pick plus something, either more picks or a player that will help us on the defensive line or offensive line. 2 of my offensive linemen are up for grabs. All of my guys are over 90 overall, and I am trying to move at least 2 or 3 of those guys. Both of my guards are up for trade, plus my left tackle. So if you're needing an offensive lineman, you're willing to part ways with a first-round pick, come calling. We kind of have a plan for our offensive line, and the only way we're going to do it is we get what we need. If not, we're going to stick with them, and we're going to keep rolling. So thank you for tuning in again. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you after the playoffs are over.